The German army has been ravaging Europe for years now. Kaiser Wilhelm II's goons are some of the most powerful and elite units in all of Europe. Despite this, the Allied powers have begun to take their toll on these Germans, squashing them. And the nail in the coffin are the American doughboys arriving over there! Yo, what's going on, boys? It's me, DaleyTactics here, back with some more totally accurate Battle Simulator, the brand new custom unit creator update, and today we've got the brand new World War I faction, baby! These World War I factions were harder to create than the World War II and modern factions because there were more limited options for weapons. So, I'll go over the Germans first. So, first off, we have the Lugers over here for the Chammons. Then we have a Grenadier duder. These are like stormtroopers, I guess. They've got grenades and they have hatchets and they are basically trench raiders. And then finally we have the backbone of the German army here, the Kar 98K soldiers. Pretty powerful faction, if I do say so myself. Over here, we have the American Doughboys, M1911 soldiers. Then we have shotgunners, because the Germans used to complain about the Americans being so horrifically barbaric that they would dare to use shotguns on the battlefield. It was a war crime at the time. So we have American shotgunners here. And then finally, we have Springfield 1903 riflemen for the Americans. You might notice that these are actually muskets, but sadly, there are no Springfield 1903s in this game, and there really isn't a good World War I American gun to use. So I thought the musket with the bayonet would be good enough for World War I purposes. We're going to use a little bit of imagination on this one. Additionally, I was going to add a poison gasser for the Germans, someone who would throw poison bottles. However, for some reason in the unit creator, there is no poison bottle unit, which is super lame. So I did Grenadiers instead. I thought the gas mask would then make sense, but hey, you can't always get what you want. Either way, guys, we're going to do a quick battle in the simulator testing ground here and then move on to real battles. This is simply just to see the strengths of each army and see, who has certain weaknesses to them. Each side has exactly 90 units. Let's get this thing going. Okay, guys, here we go. Let's see which faction is more powerful. Please remember to smash that like button if you enjoy this video. Let's try and get 1,000 likes in the first 24 hours. Comment down below what kind of tabs videos you'd like to see in the future. And remember to subscribe. We're trying to hit 250K by the end of the year. Either way, we have the Germans and Americans taking pretty much equivalent losses at the very start of this battle here. And really, it's just the two sides riflemen that seem to be left alive at this point, plus a couple of Germans did manage to survive, whereas more of the Americans did end up dying, and the riflemen don't really seem to be firing for the Americans very much. Oh, the musket reload time is really slow. All right, we're gonna have to adjust that. But beyond that, the Americans do appear to be a little bit weaker than the Germans. And that makes sense because the Americans were called the Doughboys for a reason. They were not as, skilled because they didn't have the same experience that the Germans had at this juncture in the war. So it does make sense for the Germans to be a little bit more powerful than the Americans right now. But I do think we need to up the actual firing time on the American Springfield. So I'll be back after I do that. Alright guys, I fixed the Springfield. It now fires a little bit faster than before. However, now the Germans are holding this little village. This farm village is under German control, and the United States Doughboys are coming to liberate this bad Larry. The Doughboys do outnumber the Germans by a little bit, and that's because, first of all, the Americans were coming in with just so many fresh troopers that the Germans couldn't really compete in terms of numbers. However, the Americans do have weaker troopers than the Germans, so it sort of ends up evening out a little bit here. Let's get it going. All right, the first rounds of fire going out. The American shotgunners in the front getting some good shots in on these Luger pistol men of the Germans with their gas masks on. Yeah, I do have to say, It's weird that every single unit has gas masks on despite there being no gas on the battlefield. But you know what? It's symbolic of World War I, so I gave everyone gas masks. I think it's kind of fun that way. Although I do have to say, statistically, gas attacks were not actually all that effective during World War I. Gas attacks rarely really did anything. You know, in terms of actual deaths, it was mainly artillery that caused the most destruction to armies and things like that, as well as small arms. Gas masks really, you know, did prevent a lot of deaths, and gas just wasn't that effective in the first place. The wind would blow it away, or it just wouldn't settle down, or, you know, troopers would just be able to get out of the way of it. It really wasn't the most effective weapon during World War I. However, the thing that sort of makes it so prolific in the World War I lore, I guess, is the fact that it's just such a terrifying weapon. That's why, you know, historians sort of believe it's so prolific, is because, you know, it's a weapon that doesn't penetrate. It was a weapon that literally you breathed. The very basic need of oxygen was, you know, quenched because of this. You were not able to breathe because of the gas that was being used. So people think it was such a you know, prolific weapon because of the fact that it was so creepy of a way to die and things like that, not because of you know, its actual lethality. Either way, the Doughboys come away with a really easy victory there, and I think the reason why was because the bombardiers weren't as close to the American lines this time, and therefore they weren't as destructive as before. So the Germans really need to get up in the Americans' grill in order to do their devastating bombardier attack. So let's get another battle going, baby. Alright, boyos, this time around, we're in a bit more of an inner European city battle here. And we do have the Germans utilizing their trench raiders a little bit better, with them a little bit closer to the enemy lines. However, the shotgunners for the Americans are also closer, and this bullet spread on these shotguns can do some serious damage at close range. So let's see how this goes this time around. So yeah, I mean, the shotgunners do get the first licks on these grenadiers and kill most of them right off the bat. However, the grenadiers do manage to get most of their grenades off early this time, and these grenades are going to eliminate all of the pistolers behind. However, they still don't manage to get the riflemen, but there are still more grenadiers alive that could potentially... Oh, nope, they're all dead. Never mind. So now it is rifleman v rifleman at this point. Car 98K is doing a good job of eliminating a lot of the Springfield troopers here, but will the Springfielders be able to sort of bring it back? The Car 98K has a better fire rate, but the Springfield does have better damage. However, it doesn't matter because the German Car 98K manages to be victorious right there and seriously claps some American doughy cheeks right there. So, brutal battle. Let's get on with another one, boys. All right. We have ourselves a little bit of a castle defense here. Apparently, the Allies managed to get their hands on a World War I European castle, and they fitted it out with American doughboys here, who are going to be defending, of course, against the Germans here, who are, you know, sending in their bombardiers, first their grenadiers, whatever you want to call them, followed by the Lugers, and being backed up in total by the Car 98Ks. So, let's see how this thing ends up going here. Will the Americans be able to pull a victory out of their butts, or will the Germans manage to seize a victory themselves? Those grenadiers, they do die awfully quickly, being in the front lines there, of course. However, their grenades do manage to go off before they tend to get shot down. So those grenades are, of course, having a large impact right now on the American shotgunners in the front there. So, you know, not a complete loss for the Germans losing their grenadiers right off the bat. And I mean, to be completely honest, after they throw their grenades, I don't think they reload grenades. I don't think they get more. I think they just get the one, or at least they haven't lived long enough for us to see them get a second one yet. So I'm pretty sure That all being said, you know, they're only going in with a knife after that, so there's no point in keeping them around for much longer. You might as well just sort of yeet them in the front, let them die, and then move on with your riflemen and your Luger troopers. The Luger troopers do die pretty quickly. They are pretty weak in terms of health. However, what they do have going for them is their fire rate. They've got a nasty fire rate. However, damage rate is not very good in the slightest. The Germans are getting into a bit of a traffic jam right here. Their Kar 98Ks are managing to fire out at the Americans pretty well here, and they're getting a lot of kills in the process. However, lots of Germans falling off the edge of the bridges here. I really wish a lot of these castle maps did have railings on the edges. It would just be so nice to not have these guys, you know, plummet to their death, because that is the main cause of most of these siege deaths, is falling off the edge. And, well, there goes a Springfielder right there falling off the edge. So it's not just the Germans who are losing troopers to that. The Americans are as well, even though they literally have stay orders. You know what? I'm not going to get into it. They're just being bozos. Springfielder is managing to snipe a lot of these Germans, so they are getting kills that way as well. Kar 98K trooper takes a knee shot right there at that Springfielder, and it manages to kill. Basically, all that's left right now for the Americans are some M1911 pistol troopers on the interior. They're very similar to the Luger troopers, where they've got exceptional fire rates. However, their damage is pretty poo-poo. But the fire rate seems to be doing a bit more than the damage here, as they're managing to actually shove the Germans over the edge with the kickback of their pistols. So some very impressive stuff right there, although it seems like they're out of ammo for now. Now they're just shooting this guy down. Oh, my mans. My poor goober boy. Oh, and he's going over the edge. Bye-bye. So that is, in fact, an American victory right there. So after we've done a few battles, I think what I would like to do right now is size up, you know, the equivalent fighters for each of these sides and see how they do in a 1v1 match. So I'll see you guys in the arena. Alright guys, both sides have the exact same number of units here. We're going with the Allied shotgunners versus the Grenadiers first off here, and we will see how the individual sides end up doing against each other. Shotgunners fire away, but the Grenadiers have already gotten their grenades off, so if they can kill the Grenadiers before the grenades blow up, then the shotgunners might be able to catch the dub, but they do not. They miss a lot of their shots there. However, now they're going up against the Grenadiers, and the Grenadiers just seem to sort of be chilling. Are they, like, reloading grenades? I can't tell. They're dying is what it is. And I think I actually need to switch those guys probably to melee mode. And that would probably result in them getting to charge after they throw their grenades. So maybe that's an adjustment I need to make for the next time we use these World War I units. However, the shotgunners did manage to win, though by just a small amount here. Alright guys, pistolers versus pistolers. Luger versus M1911. Let's see who's got the stuff to get the victory here. I think it's going to be a lot of spam fire and not a lot of death for quite a while, because both sides, of course, like I've said a few times, they got that fire rate, but they don't got that damage. So yeah, it's a lot of spam fire right here. Every faction does need to sort of have a weak unit, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta have some duds in there in order to be able to have a true faction, a truly balanced Tabs faction. And of course, you gotta have some god units. I was actually considering giving the Americans a BAR unit, because the BAR was, you know, first established very, very late into World War I. Oh, the M1911 does manage to win. Or actually, it might have been just after World War I when it was truly invented. I'm not entirely sure. If you know, let me know in the comments. But I was considering giving them that, but I didn't have a weapon to give to the Germans that would be an equivalent, so I didn't. Alright, well, the American M1911 is clearly better than the Luger, but not by that much. It took these guys forever to kill each other, so both weapons are kind of duds. Now let's check out Springfield versus Kar 98K. Alright guys, here we go. Springfield versus Kar 98K. I'm pretty sure that the Springfield is more powerful, but the Kar is faster fire rate. However, the Kar did one tap like a lot of Americans right there, so yeah. Maybe the Kar is just downright superior right there. They really walloped them, didn't they? They really gave them the old wallop. Yeah, even in second round, it doesn't really make too much of a difference. The musket's not that accurate, to be honest. Like, it's really not that accurate. It's pretty bad accuracy, in fact. Wait, what if we backed him up? What if we did a little backup here, you know? Really push the two sides apart and see if that changes the outcome. 25 versus 25. There we go. All right, let's see. Oh, massive outcome change. The musket is way better at range, and it KOs the entire car army. Meanwhile, the cars didn't connect a single shot that time. Whoa, big difference there. Big difference between the power. Insanity. All right, guys. Well, that's going to be about it for my World War I faction showcase video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Give me any advice you want for me to sort of adjust these factions, because, of course, you know, I could always adjust them. They're not perfectly balanced, and if you have any ideas for more units or whatever, I'd be interested in adding them. I was also thinking about trying to do a trench warfare battle, so if you want to see more action with these World War I units, please let me know, and I'd be happy to. Either way, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really do hope you did enjoy. Subscribe if you have not already, and be sure to smash the like button. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Be sure to click that subscribe button for more content, and hit the notification bell if you'd like to be alerted to whenever I live stream or upload. Thanks so much.